Messy shed equals man at work. Guess what? The engine's back in the bike, guys. It's only in it until I can get it running properly, and once I have it running properly, then I'll continue the restoration and get the frame done and everything, and paint. The whole reason I'm making the video today is because the last day I left you was when I was trying to set the points on the bike, and it just proved to be a little difficult for myself to get that right, and I needed to concentrate, so I didn't make any videos on it. But I will make a video on it later on, because I'll be redoing everything. I'll be going through the whole engine probably and replacing every seal and everything within it. So I'll do it for you then. And right now I just want to make it a running bike so that it's actually a project and not just sitting in my shed. So I kicked it over a few times and I just threw a little bit of petrol down the cylinder, and I kicked it off a few times and it popped off, and it ran for like a second or two, which I was very happy about, and I was jumping around the room. And so then I took the carburetor and gave it a good blowing out, and I filled the bowl of the carburetor with petrol, and I thought it'd run for quite a while on just the carburetor, but it only ran for a wee minute, and it would rev whenever I turned the handle or the throttle and everything, so I was very happy with that, but it just wouldn't stay running for any given length of time, like. So I've decided now has come the time to clean out the petrol tank, and as you can see, I've just took a hell of a lot of junk out of it. There's a lot of stuff in there. The tank's pretty bad, to be honest. If I was to show you, hold on, like get a light into it, you can see that's pretty bad. Way down in there, see the back? I took the fuel gauge out so that you could see just what we're dealing with. As you can see, it's pretty bad. And I've had these screws in it and I've been shaking the crap out of it and to loosen up stuff, but it's just not working. So I'm going to have to rethink what I'm going to do here. I think one possibility is electrolysis, trying to remove it that way. Fill the tank full of water and just have a sacrificial piece of metal and try it that way with a battery charger. It's possibly, but it's going to be difficult because that's a very small hole to be working out of, and I don't want the two arcs to join. So I don't know what somebody's been putting on this, but they've been putting something on it, probably stuff to prevent rust, or it's all flaking off anyway, so good. There's been a bit of brazing done here some stage, and also just for historical purposes, you'll see that there's a bee scratched into the tank here, so that's just for historical reasons. I told you that. So that's as far as I've got on, and I'm about to now try and hook the tank up to the bike and see if it'll run for any length of time, and hopefully then if it runs for any length of time I'll concentrate on cleaning out the tank properly and rebuilding the carb and all that stuff. So that's just a update on the Cb125. You can see that it's quite bad for dents. These bikes rarely get away without an accident or two. Should be able to fix it all with filler though, hopefully. This is just a quick reference of what we're up against here. This is the fuel gauge. It was in the petrol tank and still moves perfectly, but you can see the state of it, and there's no way I can put that back in the tank the way it is, so I'm going to have to clean it up a bit here. Just for reference, any of you guys has any advice for me on how I'm going to clean this tank out, please don't be afraid to drop me a comment. Not quite sure what to do with it yet. There's no holes in it, that's a good thing. Well, I don't think there is. So that's it. So, got my engine in, got the tank on, with petcock, fuel line and filter. Let's go on to the other side here. You'll see it hooks in there. If I can get to it to show you in there. I haven't got my airbox hooked to it at the moment, and I kicked it a few times, put on the choke and I kicked it a few times and that, and it wanted to run, but it would only run if I kept my hand covering the intake here. So if I had my hand totally over the intake, it'd run, but as soon as I took my hand off, it'd stop. So I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why it's not pulling the fuel itself. So I thought maybe the head bolts, because I don't have a torque wrench and I just tightened them down myself, I thought maybe I didn't tighten them just well enough. So I got in and tightened them too there a bit more. But unfortunately I can't get in at these ones under here. So I'm going to have to pull the engine, or at least drop it down to get at them and tighten them up a bit. But other than that, I don't have any answers. I don't know what's wrong. So a bit of advice would be helpful if any of you know what might be the problem. For now, I'm assuming that it's taking in air around the head, and that's why it's not sucking the fuel, but I just don't know, and my legs are tired from kicking it, so I'm going to have to give up for a while and go in and get a cup of tea and think this over. Alright, thanks lads.